Well, this will be my second video featuring comments made by Bill Burr, the comedian, and I still haven't heard any of his comedy. I actually don't know much about him as a comedian, but what can I say? He keeps saying intelligent things about music that make me think, so I'm going to feature one of his comments yet again. Now, previously I did a video where he suggested that David Lee Roth's vaudeville Vegas style persona was a real boost for Van Halen, and in this video I want to feature something that he said about Meg White and John Bonham. And in case you're not familiar with Meg White, the drummer for the White Stripes, I've included a short description of her career down in the description box, and you can read that if you like. But for now, let's get right into what Bill Burr had to say about Meg White and John Bonham.
Some of the choices that she makes, where she'll leave out a snare or where she'll put it, and then maybe not hit the snare and just hit the hi-hat, but the way the hi-hats are open, elevates the song. If you watch her play, it does not look like she's exerting any sort of effort, but you close your eyes and you listen, it's just like, she's killing.
In a weird way, would you say she's influenced by Bonham?
My favorite fill he does is at the end of the Wanton song. It's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da, he just goes da-da-da-da-da. So like the whole song feels like it stopped for a second. And you almost fall out of your seat, and then he picks right up.
Now, those are two drummers that you normally wouldn't think about putting together, but when you reflect on it, it sort of makes sense. And the part of it that makes sense is where he talks about this stopping and starting ability that John Bonham had, the ability to kind of define where the silence parts of a song go. And this goes beyond drumming. Not every drummer does this. Some drummers just keep time. And while it's clear that Meg White is sort of a minimalist compared to what John Bonham does, there are some similarities in the way they choose to use that moving area of silence in a song very effectively. Now, to put a little bit of an accent on this, I want you to listen to something that Jimmy Page had to say about John Bonham and how he used this silence and sudden appearance of the drums to great effect in Led Zeppelin. Let's listen in right here.
What I've learned about John Bonham, that he could be really effective if he came in somewhere down the line on the
Alright, so using John Bonham at strategically placed moments is something that seems kind of natural to you when you're listening to Led Zeppelin, but it's interesting that there was so much thought given to that by Jimmy Page, and it correlates a little bit to what Bill Burr was saying about Meg White. Now, to get directly down into a comparison between the two drummers, do I see any real similarities between them? In actuality, like I said, I do. I think that the biggest difference between the two, of course, is that Meg White is not by any standards a schooled or traditional drummer. She plays completely spontaneously by instinct, whereas John Bonham had great technique. And I think that they both have an ability to play delicately and very loudly and hard on their set, and they both understand the voice of the drum, and at the same time they both have a really heavy right foot, which means the bass drum that keeps the heartbeat of a song going. And I think those are very positive similarities. Now, for the things that I think are different, mainly in this sense, I would say that John Bonham was more of an all-around musician than Meg White. He understood not only how to play the drums from a technical point of view, but he knew how they fit within the context of a song. He knew how to work on his own drums, from a technical standpoint. He knew how to tune them certain ways. He knew exactly how to tweak them all out to get what he wanted. Whereas with Meg White, you just literally get someone who sits down on the stool and plays completely whatever her instincts tell her to play, with very little foresight or thought or training. And this means that no matter how similar they are in actually completely different kinds of drummer. Now, what I'd like to hear from you is, do you feel that there is any comparison between the two? Do you think that there is some weight to Bill Burr's comparison between Meg White and John Bonham? And go ahead and leave those comments down below and let me know what you think of Meg White as a drummer in general. Like I said, I think that she is a very good drummer, and I have a video planned that features her drumming and specifically talks about her as a drummer, and I encourage you to subscribe so you'll be able to watch that video. This is what I think, but what really matters is what you think. So if you have an idea about this or any other topic connected to classic or contemporary music, please drop it in the section below, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.
Music Guru here, asking you to help us on our march to 10,000 subscribers.